Hello, everyone. Today's video is part 4 of the Narcissistic Mother, and the focus today is another aspect that many of my clients mention is this experience of feeling like it was a walking on eggshells around their narcissistic mother. And I kind of titled today's video, Tantrums and Control. And this is exactly what it's about. So let's just take a moment now. When you look back on your childhood and you think of your childhood home, do you feel that it was a safe space? Do you feel that it was a calm space, a place where you could just be? And now I'd like you to imagine that if we take your mother out of your home just for a moment, how does that feel? Does it feel calmer? Do you have a sense of relief? Well, if you answered yes, then there's a very strong potential that you were raised by a narcissistic mother. And you will have most likely spent years of your life, even into adulthood, walking on eggshells. You've spent your whole life walking on eggshells, not only with your mother, but as a result of that, in all your relationships, at work, with friends, in romantic relationships. You've been walking on eggshells. And when I say walking on eggshells, I mean you're on high alert. Your adrenal glands are ready to go. They're always on maximum. So with a narcissistic mother, you're always in stress. Now we know from, attachment theory that the mother is meant to be the safe base where you can come and find relief. And you may have found times where you could find a bit of relief, but you see, it was inconsistent. There were other times where you felt under huge stress and that she wasn't the safe base. The stress of that kind of a situation for a child is extreme because she is unpredictable. And so what we do is in childhood is we try to then make her predictable, or we try to predict things ahead of time to prevent those moments where she goes into a rage or she has a tantrum. So one day she may be calm and a cookie bakey type moment, and you feel, oh, this is wonderful. I can actually feel like she's a mother here. The next day, however, she may be slamming doors and cupboards, cursing at the role of being a mother. And as a child, this strikes the deepest of fear in your heart. So isn't it bizarre? One day she's a mother, the next day she's a 2-year-old. It's so confusing as a child. Isn't it bizarre? There you are as the child witnessing the temper tantrum of your parent. The role reversal is undeniable and it's so disconcerting, and it makes you feel unsafe as a child because you need to know that your parent is in charge. But at times, it may have felt like you were or that you needed to be. So these rages of the narcissistic mother are all about control. When she switches to the angry 2-year-old, she's actually revealing who she really is. She is emotionally in the terrible twos, although she has the appearance of an adult. although she has the appearance some days of a mother, she's not. But for a child, these rage events are so scary and they get you right in the core of you. And I so often hear from clients, one of the clearest expressions of this I find is in gut issues, in those sort of IBS symptoms, acid reflux, chronic fatigue. It all comes from here, this being on red alert, this highly stressful situation. And the only way you can respond as a child is to try to somehow make sense of it. So the way children do it is they kind of try to rack their brains to find what it was that they did that caused this great resentment, this great anger in their parent. And then they try to ensure that it never happens again. That's the reason they're racking their brains. Oh gosh, what was it? I've got to find out what it was, because then I know what to do next time and I know how to prevent it. And as soon as they're doing this, then they're trying to jump to action at the same time to try and calm and soothe mum and do what she wants, what she needs, which is usually for somebody else to step in and do the jobs or the things she doesn't want to. Just like a 2-year-old. No, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to step in my foot. This is exactly what's at play here. So from a young age, you're groomed to believe that you are the cause of her anger, but also that it's your responsibility to step in as her parent, as her mother. And of course, what we're talking about here, it's all the origins of CPTSD. And why is that? Because this is a trauma situation. This is an abusive situation. It's akin to being in an abusive adult relationship with a violent partner. You hear about women in domestic abuse, and they're tiptoeing around, trying to preempt, predict, and prevent their partner's rage because of the fear that is at the core of this. And this is the control part. This is how these rages control us. They control us by fear. And what's the fear with a narcissistic mother? That she's simply going to say, that's it, I'm off, I'm done, you can have it. And she's going to abandon you. And as a child, that means death. And you can see the parallel with an abusive partner. This time he might get so angry that he causes my death. The same thing. And the narcissistic mother uses this to great effect and personal benefit. You see, as a child, she knows your life depends on her. And so she can threaten to leave by raging like this. And it makes you comply. But it also makes you accept responsibility for her behavior, that you're at fault. So her tantrums and the threat of them is what keeps you forever controlled by her. Until, and this is if you do the work, until you have some moment of revelation, maybe watching YouTube videos or somebody might share with you about their experience with a narcissistic parent, suddenly the light bulb goes off. And then this control begins to wane. And this is key. Until you fear her anger no more, then she has lost control. I don't know if you've seen the series Super Nanny. She comes in to homes where these, toddlers and children are just out of control with their temper tantrums and their rages. And this is almost what we need to do if we have a narcissistic parent, is to no longer fear their tantrums, to be calm, collected, let them have it, but not be manipulated by it, not give in to their demands, that you comply to their will. So at some point in your healing journey, you will get to that liberating moment when you decide to let her have her tantrum, to be annoyed with you, to be angry with you, to be furious with you, and to not be moved. And part of the healing work with these parents is setting boundaries and saying no. And as you know, toddlers do not like being told no. So it will trigger these rages. And we do have to sit with all the fear that will emerge, the fear of being abandoned forever. We have to sit with that, because once that fear is gone, well, that's the liberation. That's the sweetest of victories. We no longer need the narcissist in our lives, and we know it. And that's what I help my clients to get to in the work I do. You know, we start, especially on the subconscious level, freeing you from all these beliefs about you being the cause, about, you know, needing to react to other people's moods and manage everyone's emotions. We really free you from that on the subconscious, and so doing, build up your courage and your strength to put yourself first, and to let others have responsibility for their lives. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, and if it's been of any benefit to you, or you know someone who's had a narcissistic mother, has a narcissistic mother, please share it, and leave a comment if you'd like to too. And I shall see you tomorrow for the final one this week of the narcissistic mother. Next week, we're going to be focusing on the narcissistic father. Take care, everybody, and see you tomorrow.